Ira Epstein with your morning flash update, and this update is for Thursday, the 9th of June, 2022, 8:20 a.m. Central Time. First thing, see the subscribe button if you're on YouTube on the bottom? Hit it. And the reason is you're going to get these updates as soon as they're published. I take some time between the time that I send out an email to get them done. You'll have them right away if you do that, so that will help you right off the bat. Okay. As we can see, the stock market's lower. We did not have favorable jobless claim numbers. They rose way more than the market was looking for. We're looking at stability, if you will, in energy prices. A big run-up in gasoline. Was that a peakish type number intraday is what I'm asking myself. You're down even further in the nat gas. That's a huge drop. That 63-cent drop. That's not a little drop. That's a heart attack drop as the market keeps falling there. And the reason is that the refiner, well, actually the port, I've said that wrong. The port that Freeport owns in Texas caught fire. It's now going to be out of commission for 3 weeks. That means that 16% of the exportable gas of the U.S. goes through that port, is now available back to the U.S. market for that time frame. Puts the pressure on the market, sudden found supply. 3 weeks from now, that supply will disappear and go right back to Europe and other destinations. Grain markets, typical summer, back and forth. Now, wheat's interesting. I don't understand quite what's going on. There was absolutely no agreement between Russia and Turkey on how to create the safe corridor. They want to get it done. They're trying to get it done. Ukraine's not going to accept the fact that, first of all, it was asked of Ukraine that they go in and remove the landmines. They're not going to do that, number one. Number two, most of those mines were put there by Russia, not Ukraine. Why should Ukraine remove them? Number three, who the heck's going to monitor Russia and Turkey? Ukraine isn't going to turn its future over to Turkey. It's never going to happen. So that brings the question, will NATO get involved? I don't know. Yet wheat prices are falling on the news, which is the part that has got me scratching my head. In the bonds and notes, you know that tomorrow we get the all-important CPI numbers. They're probably going to be hot. The market's adding interest rates. And then next week, we get the all-important FOMC meeting, which leads me into the meeting today of the European Central Bank. So in looking at that particular meeting, we saw first, and I'll go first to the jobless claims, up 27,000. The market was looking for 10, so that's almost 3 times what it was looking for. The good news is the continuing claims continue to slip down. Not by a lot, but they're slipping, and that's good. Now, European Central Bank, they leave the deposit rate unchanged. Miss Lagarde got her way. She's going to get a 1/4 point hike in July. And then they will leave it to the market forces as to what's going to happen at the next meeting in September. They could go to 50 basis point hike. So there's the compromise that she offered. That compromise got a unanimous decision on this to go ahead with it. So everybody fell in the line. They're going to end their quantitative easing. They're going to move to quantitative tightening to a degree. Now, let me explain the degree. In the U.S., we have ended quantitative easing, and at the same time, we're running our balance sheet off. That's not what the European Central Bank is going to do. They're going to continue to reinvest the proceeds of the maturing bonds, as you can see. Their call for inflation and understand, and Ms. Lagarde did a wonderful job today of explaining this. She is absolutely one of the best spokespeople I've ever seen. She sees inflation at 6.82% in the Eurozone right now this year, then falling to 3.5 and 2.1. When asked the question about inflation and them getting it wrong, she said, properly, everybody did. All the central bankers of repute got the same thing, and that is so true. It could be our Mr. Powell, our Miss Yellen. I can go down the road. It could be France. It could be England. Many thought that the supply chain issue would go away as the COVID dropped off. Not the case. Speaking of that, I don't like what I saw today. 6 cases were discovered in Shanghai. So over the weekend, 7 provinces, we're talking millions of people, mandatory testing. They're shutting down the roads, everything there. People have to go get tested. This draconian method has to come to an end. Merlin is not coming back from the medieval ages to resolve these issues, and they're relying on that. Oh, we'll keep people locked up and the disease won't spread. Vaccinate, vaccinate, vaccinate. That is what will get the job done. Natural antibodies, vaccinate. That's it, not locking people away. Tesla, by the way, is going to, for the first time now, this Friday, people since April haven't been able to go home. They work in these factories for Tesla, then they sleep, they go back to work. They work, I think, 12-hour shifts 4 days a week. They're able to go home for 4 days. So this is good news, and something else happening. Energy analysts are forecasting the weekly EIA report to show 98 billion cubic feet injection. It doesn't matter. You're dealing now with the Freeport issue. And you can see here, that's the 3 weeks there. The IEA today, chief said that they're going to hold a news conference. I'm waiting for it to occur now. Iran is turning off more cameras, and they're going to expand their uranium enrichment. Gee, how could Biden have been so stupid to begin with? You could never give in to these people. They are liars, the Iranian government. It's simple. They're going to develop a nuclear weapon. And here's the sick part. We're going to turn a blind eye like this to Iranian exports of oil. Have to, I guess, according to the Biden administration, because the world needs the oil. Sure, we're giving money to Iran to develop further. No agreement was reached, as I said yesterday, between Russia and the Ukraine. So you put it all together, you have what I'll call a pretty interesting situation. But that situation brings into mind what I've been using here. Now, let me explain that. I've been looking at the markets intraday, and these pivot points were at play all day yesterday. I've been using them fairly aggressively now to tweak my entry points. That's all. I don't base my trading on it, but I look to say, gee, example, cocoa, I had short cocoa positions on. Got within 2 points of it, and I was looking at what the pivot was doing, going, should I put out a special update for my clients? And I missed it. Today, thank God, market falls right back through it. But it's only good for that. It gives you an idea of what to do for me. Some traders base their whole trade on events like this one has got. So how do you get to this? How do you work with it, and what does it do? Well, I created a 3-part series. You can see behind me what I've done. And it teaches you how to use the pivot point formula, how to plot it, how to do it the way I do it, and then how to add slow stochastics. That's something you haven't seen to it. So that really expands it out. And I think it gives you an edge on the timing. How do I know? I'd say I'm an expert on that. I've used this thing for 30 some odd years, so I have a pretty good feel for it. Would you like to see it? It's totally free. So no credit cards, no anything. Go to our website under free offers pivot point. You can take your cursor, move it right up here. That'll do the job as well. I love my little new device. I'm really learning to get better and better with it. I'll see you at the end of the day. I am Ira Epstein. You have a great trading day. Let's see what the market wrap-up looks like.